Maybe Congressman Byron Donalds has a thought on that as well as he joins us this morning on Daybreak. First of all, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing good, Drew. How you doing?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, National Day of Prayer, and boy, do we need it.
Oh, you're not kidding. You think you're being 100% transparent and honest. In the country, we have a lot of issues right now. And I think the biggest one overall is I think that we've lost or we're losing like a cohesive national purpose amongst all Americans, something that we all hold dear, something we're all striving for. It's not good. I mean, the Bible is very clear: a house divided can't stand. And I think that we need to get back to that and realize that, despite some of the things that we might want to haggle over, have different views on, we're all Americans. We're all here. This is, the great nation in the world, and prayer, I believe, is a great way for us to be able to get back to that.
Yeah, and certainly, something that should unify us. Like I mentioned, just the fact that the president brings that up, and hopefully that's something that is coming from his heart and not something that's coming from a spokesperson or somebody who's writing all of that out in the true belief of how important it is to continue to focus on that. And look, the idea, and then we can move on, but I think it's important to say, you pray for everybody. You pray for the president. Yeah, we're going to talk smack. Yeah, we're getting ready probably to talk about some of the things that we're concerned about with this administration, with this president and some of his past. But you continue to pray for him. You continue to pray for this country, even with all of the things that are going wrong. That is the reason why you pray for these individuals. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, obviously the root of prayer is really trying to build up your faith and belief in what God can do. And listen, I know in my life He's done so many things. I mean, there's so many to count, Drew. That's an hour podcast just on that.
Yeah.
But it's all the things that He can do that, frankly, in our own hands or our own wisdom, we can't see and we can't get to that point. And
Right.
so that's what prayer is for. Even whether it's Joe Biden or anybody else, my biggest prayer is that God's wisdom reigns overall.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Now we kind of shift to something else, which is, all right, here's a reason why we need prayers. Man, I'll tell you, you hear the walls are closing in. You hear about all of these things that are popping. The latest that we hear about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, whether it's IRS allegations, the DOJ and FBI purposely mishandling the Hunter Biden investigation for political reasons and holding back on that. And, now Representative Comer and Senator Grassley revealing this highly credible evidence that we're told about Biden and this bribery scheme. I would probably ask you this first. You're probably not shocked, but knowing all of this, I mean, is this maybe the start of what will be the walls truly closing in and something getting done? Because the frustration of so many is, boy, we hear about these stories and then they just fizzle out.
Well, I mean, look, the skeptic in me says, well, does everybody remember the Whitewater scandal and the Clintons back in the day? I will tell you that there are serious issues here with Joe Biden and the family. Like, I've read a bunch of the financial documents at the Treasury Department. The subpoena issued by James Comer and Chuck Grassley, I think, is definitely needed. There have been major questions that the investigations that's been going on by the Department of Justice have been slow-walked by the Department of Justice on purpose because, obviously it's the president's son, and why is Merrick Garland going to go after, his boss's family? There are many issues, but I believe the key thing is that the American people just need to know what's actually happening, and for them to make a decision on this, frankly, in about 16 to 18 months. That's the number one thing that needs to occur. And, the real sad commentary is you're not going to get this from media. Like, I think, the big media, they'll cover it when it happens, and then they'll just move on to the next story. Yeah. And if you try to call them on it, they'll be like, oh, no, we covered it. Remember? We did it these 3 days.
Right.
But if it was Donald Trump, or if it was, to be blunt, if it was Ron DeSantis, or if it was George W. Bush, or if it was Mitt Romney or anybody else, it will be wall-to-wall coverage until they drove that person out of politics. And that's the real sad commentary in our country today.
Yeah, and the specifics on this, by the way, just something, everybody keeps bringing up this FD 1023, which is the actual memo that was discussing what was the specifics, showing the arrangement to exchanging money for policy decisions, that the FBI has this thing that they generated. And we're being told that it's an unclassified document. So if it's unclassified and it's being asked for, there should be no rejection of giving that document to Chuck Grassley or James Comer. There shouldn't be an issue here. So
you would think there shouldn't be an issue,
right?
Drew, but it's Washington, and so this is the fundamental problem.
Yeah.
In Washington, if somebody chooses that they want to back you and they want to protect you, this is the modus operandi. Everybody starts losing documents. They can't find out where it should go, and so on and so forth. And that's the really disgusting piece. But it's not, the document is huge. We definitely need to see it, and exactly what the FBI at some point was documenting there is going to help really clarify a lot of this stuff. But Drew, you have a shadow bureaucracy that literally protects the political people who have, in my view, terrible designs for this country. And at the same time, it's that same, shadow bureaucracy, if you will, that leaks on conservatives, that wants to slow walk a policy agenda that actually will help the American people.
Yeah, and the one thing we're doing by exposing all of this is also exposing the corruption and the things that are happening, like you're describing behind the scenes. So where there are people that are saying, I'm not seeing anybody perp walked and I'm getting upset. Well, ultimately, there is enough information to come out that hopefully the American people will make a very important decision coming up soon enough. And hopefully there won't be too much damage along the way. And that's the other thing, Congressman, and this is where the beef is. The beef is, we talk about 16 months from now. We talk about what the future holds with the next election. Do we even have that kind of time? Because that's the problem, is that if there really are these things that are happening, the spy balloon would be another example of how, man, it feels like people are compromised. And they're giving us the examples. It's not even like you're making things up. When you see things like the spy balloon and how long it takes, when you see the border, the southern border, look, people have legitimate questions about how under this president it could be so wide open and things that are happening. And you've seen it and you've been there yourself. You've been along the southern border. You've talked to so many. I mean, it feels like there's something else happening here, because there's no way that any president would just be willing to have 6 million plus people coming across in only the short amount of time that they've been there, and how many thousands a week. Can we even wait that long? That's what people say to me.
Well, I mean, look, some of this stuff, it's going to be unfortunate. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with it, and we're going to have to wait. In America, unfortunately, we've lost sight of the primary goal, which is government has to be competent, economies have to run smoothly, borders need to be secured, and from a foreign policy perspective, we have to be strong. I mean, look at this debt ceiling foolishness.
Yeah.
There was a Wall Street Journal article this morning where the White House essentially strategies are a short-term increase to potentially do more negotiations, not paying Social Security and not paying defense contractors so they can find a way to get around the debt ceiling. Joe Biden just using a pen and a phone just to raise the debt ceiling without Congress, and minting $1 trillion coin. These are the strategies from the White House. This guy and these people are not serious. And this is way past Republican Democrat stuff. This is about who's in the White House right now. And unfortunately, some of the people who are truly radical on the Democrat side of the aisle, who do not care about what actually is going on in the lives of the American people.
Yeah. Congressman Byron Donald is joining us on Daybreak, 92.5 Fox News. Shifting gears just a little bit, just because I'm trying to get the vibe from the people that you talk to on Capitol Hill when it comes to, for example, are people starting to wake up to woke? In other words, are they starting to see ESG is just not going to work? It's not just us, it's you as well. It's not just they're going to ultimately come for you just as much as they're coming for us when it comes to some of these policies, some of the things that we're seeing, the manipulation of what is not only our kids, we talk about TikTok and we talk about how people are the influencers that are out there and who's getting paid and how that might even be the next, place to look at. I've talked about this for the past couple of days, and I'm just wondering if people are waking up to this at all.
You're very correct about TikTok. I think we should ban TikTok. I think that the Chinese government, not only are they using it in a way to basically dumb down our kids, but they're also building a digital workflow of how our young people are thinking in the United States. That's what social media companies have the ability to do. And so they're mapping that stuff on every user. So we should not be allowing the CCP, who is our rival and our adversary, to be able to be in the minds of the American people. Nope, we should get rid of that. That being said, if people are being influenced by TikTok videos, then yep, conservatives need to have TikTok videos. We got to be in that game, because at the end of the day, it is what voters see. And Drew, your show's great. They don't always listen to your show. They're not always watching Newsmax or Fox or OAN. They're not listening to, Mark Levin's podcast, on a daily basis or whatever the case might be. Yeah. They're using their thumb looking at TikTok, and that's the way they're receiving information. So if that's what's happening, we need to be there too. My attitude is, whatever medium or tool you're using, I want to use the same tool. I want to do it better than you, and I want to give you no ability to win on any front.
Just like with all the issues that come down with climate change and some of the audio we were playing yesterday on Capitol Hill and the energy department, and some of the questions that were being asked by Senator Kennedy of certain individuals with regard to climate change. And listen, we want to spend $50 trillion. Okay, well, how much is that going to change the climate, the global temperature? Well, we can't answer that question. Well, then we're not giving you the money. Like that kind of argument is just the things that are going on with the arguments and with climate change and the like, and the fact that listen, you just got to be ready to do that battle and understand that they're going to get what they want, and they're not going to look at any of the evidence. The train is rolling. They're rolling full steam ahead with this, and all the things that you want to bring up that are common sense, they're not looking at that. They're just looking for the win.
Drew, I was listening to you earlier today about what you're talking about the solar panels all having to go into landfills and how they leak into the groundwater. That is happening, folks. Yeah. Solar panels, when you bury them in landfills, the minerals and the sediments, they all leak into the groundwater and they contaminate groundwater. Yeah. You tell this to Democrats on Capitol Hill,
they don't care.
They look at you like, what do you mean? We're here to save the planet. Like, okay, let's drop the temperature one degree centigrade over the next 100 years. Meanwhile, we don't have water to drink because you let these stupid panels seep into our groundwater. It is idiocy. And so, look, one of the things in this debt ceiling fight, the Democrats are saying, oh, you can't get rid of the Clean New Deal subsidies. We need that. And my attitude to Kevin McCarthy and every other Republican is stand firm and don't give them a dime, because these people are going to waste trillions of dollars. They're actually going to hurt our environment. They're going to make our planet more dirty, quote unquote. Yeah. And then what? They're going to run around saying they did something when they did nothing. They actually made the problems worse.
Yeah. Congressman Byron Donald is joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. All right, my friend. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much. All the best.
All right.
We'll see you later. It's Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, right all along.
The right place for local talk. Drew now. Trey for the drive at 5. 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.